So what are the main benefits of the implementation of the single window in Pakistan? How do you compare across regional and regional counterparts that have implemented their own single windows? Now, for instance, single windows across the region have reduced documentation time from a few days to a matter of minutes. However, unfortunately, in Pakistan, and civil banks still require paper-based documentation that includes bottlenecks for otherwise an all-digital platform. So, how will Pakistan's single window achieve its objectives given the hindrances that we face?
Yeah, Adil, thank you so much. I think this is a great question. I mean, like they say, the proof of the pudding is in its eating, right? So we just do talk a lot about single window and single window implementation. I usually am talking about single window in at least two international events every month. The point is Pakistan single window really delivering the benefits that it promises to deliver? Um, so, when we were doing the initial estimates for the single window implementation, the World Bank and IFC came up with a figure in which they stated that full implementation of the single window would result in $430 million saving to the economy in Pakistan. And all of these benefits were benchmarked against the time and cost that are required for border compliances and for documentary compliances that every trader requires when they are performing an import or export transaction. And it was a very conservative estimate because when you talk about documentary compliance at the borders, there's a lot of time and effort that goes actually behind the scenes in creating those documents that would be required to clear a consignment from, let's say, Karachi port or Jinnah International Airport. So that time and cost was not taken. At this point in time, what Pakistan Single Window has done is that we have a lot of data and anecdotal evidence to suggest that we are reducing the time and cost of doing business, but we have initiated a single window assessment methodology assessment under the single window assessment methodology that is created by the UNCFAC. It is being done by a third party and would also have a component of international peers reviewing the single window implementation in Pakistan. And under the methodology, the review would not only look into the legal framework and the IT infrastructure and the design of the system, but they're also doing surveys to ask the PSW users of how much they are in fact benefiting from the single window services. So I think I would have a more concise answer to this particular question maybe in a month's time. But at this point in time, we can safely say that, we looked at data and we did find out that, in certain cases, before single window came in, a trader had to visit the banks for one single shipment multiple times. But now all they need to do is to go just once to register the contract or open the LC, and the information gets pushed to the single window platform, and they don't have to go and visit again. So there is a lot of evidence that we are creating, difference, but we would really like that to be substantiated by a third-party survey. Now, on that note, Adil, I think I must also mention there are two other things that we kind of look into when we are comparing ourselves to the single windows around the world. One is the cost. You might be surprised to know that the single window was created at a fraction of the cost that was initially estimated for single window development and operations under the PC1 approved by the government. And in that, we leverage a lot of donor funding through grants to develop the single window. And we have also built on the infrastructure that already exists. So, as part of the single window, we have not created new data centers, we have not created new customer centers, we have not, and extended our footprint at the borders. So that's one thing we have been very, very cost effective in terms of how we have developed. But the challenge here is that in most of the advanced countries, you find government organizations which are already digitized. In Pakistan's case, we are working with 77 other government departments. For example, Department of Plant Protection, Animal Quarantine, Federal Seed Certification, Mercantile Marine Department, TDAP, you name it, every organization that has anything to do with cross-border trade is going to be integrated on the single window platform, but not all of them are digitized. So, a lot of time and effort also goes in digitizing that part of the work that has an interface with cross-border trade. And that is where actually we are making a difference. Pakistan Single Window has done a marvelous job in terms of business process re-engineering of the organizations that are regulating cross-border trade. Before we integrate any government agency onto the single window platform, we look at their process, identify redundancies, and eliminate them. We also eliminate redundant documents, and that is where we are quite different from a lot of other single window systems that have been implemented in the region and even around the world.